me wanna holler, go away. I need more peace and hope and love. Where do I find it in this crazy old world? I need strategies, strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio. Every time I listen, Lauren and David share strategies for living, and it makes me aware. I got strategies for living, strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio.
Oh, you know we need them. We need strategies. Sometimes we need them worse than at other times, but we need them all the time. Welcome, folks. Welcome into 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Welcome into Strategies for Living. I'm Dr. David McMillan. She is psychotherapist, BLPC Lauren Leon McMillan.
Yes.
You know what we haven't talked about in a long time?
What's that?
Relationships.
Ah, yeah, okay.
Healthy marriage, healthy relationships.
It has been a while.
So, you know, it's time.
It is, and it's always important to
It is always
come
important.
back to.
You know, we're spending more time. I mean, we've shifted now.
Mm-hmm.
We're spending more time indoors, right?
Right.
We're spending more time with one another.
Mm-hmm.
And so it would be natural, you know, because one of the things that happens in any relationship is something called conflict. And that might surprise people.
No.
But conflict is a part of every relationship.
I mean, in every relationship, there's two very different people.
Exactly.
And so there's always going to be different opinions, different preferences.
Yeah. Different ways of looking at things, different ways of thinking about things, certainly different ways of feeling.
Mm-hmm.
During this time where we've got increased family togetherness, we're reminded of, we come from different histories, right?
Absolutely.
Your family does something this way. My family always did that same thing that way, you know? and sometimes that can be tricky. How do we navigate through all of that? What if there were a secret weapon? What if there were a secret sauce, if you will,
mm-hmm.
that we could apply that would help?
A salve, a healing salve.
Yeah, there you go. I think we may have one today. We're going to talk about it.
Sounds good.
Here on Strategies for Living. Folks, thank you. Thank you for being with us. We appreciate our sponsors making it possible. The Robinson Film Center and Azalea Cleaners and Pintail Roofing
Woof, woof.
and Learning RX and the Balanced Life Wellness Center and Fertitta's Delicatessen, the home of The Godfather. Alligator Italian sausage. What's the secret sauce in marriage and relationships? Talking about it today here on Strategies.
We all have problems every day. We all need help along the way. We need strategies, strategies, strategies for living radio.
And here we are on 101.7 FM, 710 Keel, here on Strategies for Living Radio. David McMillan and Lauren Leon McMillan, we're glad you are here with us. Is there a secret sauce, if you will, in relationships? Relationships are, marriage. I think modern society has kind of taken the concept of marriage and idealized it, maybe to the point where a lot of people come in with rose-colored glasses. I don't know. Maybe I may not be right about that.
Well, I think that's a good point. I think marriage has greatly evolved in a relatively rapid period of time. In terms of, not too long ago, people were getting married for sake of necessity
Yeah.
or convenience.
Sure.
Or
You're talking within the last 100 years.
Yeah.
You didn't marry for necessarily always love and romance and compatibility and your heart's
friendship.
full. It was about, almost survival, huh?
Yeah, about I need someone to mate with and to, produce a family.
Right.
And, if
and
you
that was important if we go back 100, 150 years
Mm-hmm.
in our culture and our society, that was important.
Well, and if you were female, it was a way you had to survive because you didn't have a whole lot of rights unless you were attached
Right.
to a
And
male
so
figure.
a lot has shifted in the last 100, 150 years
Yeah.
when it
And
comes to relationships.
so notably, it makes sense to me that we're still a little wobbly, in our footing of relationships because it's evolved so rapidly. We've had to do a quick change, a tango, if you will, alongside it, right?
Well, that's not so bad to do the tango.
No, it takes two.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I hope.
Sometimes more these days.
Exactly. I mean, you could do it with one, but it just kind of everybody kind of look at you, Look at that guy out there doing the tango.
Well, whether we like it or not, marriage has evolved, and I think it's a good thing. I think it's a very good thing.
I think
it
it's
speaks.
I do too, Lauren, and I think it's evolving. It's like like all of life.
Mm-hmm.
Marriage and relationships continue to evolve. They're beautiful.
And I think it speaks to the evolution of human consciousness as
Yeah.
well, that we're becoming more conscious in relationships as well.
But I think we also have to be realistic in that marriage is beautiful, but it's rife with complications.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, classic conflicts arise,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of times they come sooner than later,
Right.
and they can feel like an unwelcome surprise, if you will. And
it's a beautiful evolutionary thing that we've created, this partnering mechanism, right?
Yeah.
Because quite often we attract someone, and what goes on in the brain is literally, we've seen this, right? That when you first fall in love, your brain reacts as if it's on cocaine, as if it's on drugs. I mean, the dopamine, the oxytocin level, it skyrockets.
Yeah.
So that you are biologically attracted and quote unquote fall in love. So that's, that there's that biological survival mechanism, to pair up and to produce babies, right?
Right.
To continue on.
Right.
But then after that, I think the survival and the evolutionary mechanism is still involved because more often than not, we've attracted a partner that can quite elegantly reflect back to us the wounds we see within ourselves.
Oh, so many times.
Right?
Yeah. In fact, most often.
Right.
Yeah.
And but it's that point, that shift from when the biological initial drive melts, and those other psychological, spiritual, evolutionary drives, are continuing on. That's the point when people are like, "Oh my God, what happened?
What have I done?
Or
I
what's
married my
changed?"
mother, or I
Right.
married my father, and and oftentimes
We do.
the mate that you attract has has many of the qualities,
The patterning and habits.
and patterning and habits and of the parental figure
Mhm.
that you had the most difficulty
Sure, and
attaching with.
I think that's a beautiful, again, evolutionary on a soul level thing that happens, because what it does is it gives us that opportunity to heal what's left wounded.
Absolutely,
within
but
us.
we have to know.
Yeah, we have to know that that's
We have
there.
to
and
know
that's
that
why.
that's there and that's going on. I mean, the reality is that divorce rate remains hovering at 50%. Divorce rate of second marriages even goes up higher. Third marriages goes up higher still. So it's like, well, wait a minute. Common sense says the more we do something, the better we get at it. And the statistics on marriage and divorce don't reflect that. So
Right.
what's going on there? Well, what could be going on is we're not understanding what's going on at that psychological, that just under the surface of what we're attracting into our lives, because it can be magic if we understand
it could be sacred.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it gives us the opportunity, as you say, to heal. So is there a secret sauce? I mean, we promised a secret sauce, so I guess we better deliver, right?
Sounds good.
So I think there are two big key realities that once we embrace these, we're going to find ourselves better equipped to handle the inevitable ebbs and flows, if you will, and to take them in stride. So one of the first places we're going to turn is to Dr. John and Julie Gottman.
Of course.
I really like the Gottmans' work.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that they talk a lot about is the 5-to-1 ratio in marriage and relationships. And so their ratio theory suggests that for every negative interaction that a couple has, there should be at least 5 positive interactions to buffer these effects. So the 5-to-1 ratio. So for every negative interaction that a couple has, there should be at least 5 positive interactions. Dr. Gottman's written, both of them, John and Julie Gottman, have written lots of books. Dr. John Gottman wrote one in 1994, a long time ago, on marital process. And, you know, the title of it was What Predicts Divorce?
Right.
That book included a study that really put this 5-to-1 ratio to the test. So it doesn't matter the nature of a negative interaction, right?
Okay.
The relationship is going to remain stable, and this is really the secret sauce, because no matter what the nature of the negative interaction is, you can make sure that the relationship is stable as long as the ratio stays 5-to-1. Now, if that's not a secret sauce, I don't know what is. But if the ratio drops to under 1-to-1, specifically anywhere below, 0.8 to 1.
So in other words, there's suddenly more negative events than positive.
That's it.
Right.
Then the partnership is at risk for instability.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have awareness of this magical ratio, obviously, if you've got a secret sauce, you're going to use it, right?
Right.
And so if you've got awareness of this magical ratio, and it's magical with air quotes, obviously, there's nothing really magical about it, but it's understanding this 5-to-1 ratio. And if you understand it, if you've got awareness of it, then you'll capitalize on it within your marriage, within your relationship. Yeah. For instance, Dr. Gottman talks about the deadly horseman, right?
Right.
Defensiveness, criticism,
stonewalling,
and yeah. And so any kind of defensiveness or criticism or passive aggression or hostility, then you'll likely, if you understand the 5-to-1 ratio, then you'll move to and push to counteract it with physical affections, or compliments, or acts of service.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's important that there be sincerity.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you can't just do this to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've got to be sincere in your effort. Because conflict is a given. It's a given in any relationship. It's natural. It's unavoidable.
Right.
Right.
And the piece here that I think people don't understand is that conflict can actually be a means to grow closer.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
how do we grow, right?
Right. Through our differences.
Through our differences. We grow through, I mean, we go to the gym and we put ourselves in conflict and think nothing about it, right?
Yeah, right.
But why are we doing that? Because it
makes us stronger.
It makes us stronger. Lifting the weights, whether we're lifting free weights or machines, walking on the treadmill, doing the stair step, all of that is quote unquote conflict. Why do we do that to ourselves? Well, we do it to make ourselves stronger.
Right.
And that's exactly.
And build resilience.
Within ourselves. And that's exactly what can happen if we are consciously doing that within our relationships. So the 5-to-1 ratio, it's a secret sauce.
The first ingredient of the secret sauce?
It's I think it's the main ingredient.
Okay.
I do have more to mix into the secret sauce, but it's the 5-to-1 ratio is certainly
the base.
Of the
sauce.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Sauce, good sauce got to have a base, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
And we are talking about the secret sauce of relationships today as we spend more time indoors and close quarters.
And in relationship, right?
And in relationships with our significant others and families. This is important. Mm-hmm. We're talking about it today on Strategies. Stay with us.
You to your table, we're keeping it alive with flavors from the family passed down to survive. The Godfather's here with a twist in the tail, alligator Italian sausage, and it sure won't fail. It's the boss of the bayou, a taste you can't refuse. Italian tradition, Cajun infused. Sausage, bold and true. The Padres bringing the bayou to you.
Get the Godfather alligator Italian sausage only at Fertitta's Delicatessen, 1124 Fairfield Avenue in Shreveport. Pick up a muffy while you're there. The Godfather alligator Italian sausage. It's a taste you can't refuse. Sold only at Fertitta's, 1124 Fairfield Avenue in Shreveport. Dealing with stress? Pain? Feel like you're running out of options? When your life is balanced, wellness is a given. True wellness is holistic. It's about the mind, the body, and the spirit, all in balance. Now, there's a place right here in Shreveport that's all about helping us achieve peak mental, emotional, and physical health. The Balanced Life, 117 Kings Highway, right next door to Strawn's. Come see and feel the difference getting your life in balance can be. Many of your friends and neighbors have already learned the difference less stress and pain mean in their lives. You can book a discovery session right now online, thebalancedlife.us. All you've got to lose is stress, pain, or maybe both. Come see and feel for yourself the real difference balanced wellness makes. The Balanced Life Wellness Center, 117 Kings Highway in Shreveport, next door to Strawn's. thebalancedlife.us.
We all have problems every day. We all need help along the way. We need strategies for living radio.
And we're back. We're back here on 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Back to Strategies for Living. Lauren Leon McMillan, David McMillan. We are talking relationships today. We hadn't talked about marriage and relationships.
It's been a few seconds.
It's been a little while. So time we got back into it a bit.
Yeah.
All right. So we introduced last segment the idea of the 5-to-1 ratio,
right?
And how the Gottman's work says that's the key to making any relationship work. Mm-hmm. So there's going to be negative interaction. I mean,
and how would you define a negative interaction?
Well, it could be criticism. It could be defensiveness. It could be dismissiveness. It could be even a passive-aggressive body language. It could be something as simple as eye rolling. But again, what you're looking for is you're looking for 5 positive interactions to any one negative interaction.
Right.
If that stays stable, there is quote unquote magic going on, because what that 5-to-1 ratio does is it creates a buffer. It's a buffer of positivity, and it helps couples navigate conflicts more effectively. Conflicts are going to come. The key is, how do we navigate through them effectively so that we can grow? I mean,
Right.
you were talking about in the beginning of the program, we're attracting at the unconscious level, we're attracting partners who to complete us, right?
Yeah, in the sense that they reflect back to us the parts of us that need healing, right?
Right.
That's why we often in relationship trigger each other so often, because we're supposed to.
That's the way it's set up.
Right.
So the positive interactions, what are those? Showing appreciation, expressing love, sharing laughter, offering support. Those are like deposits in the bank,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Those are like putting deposits in an emotional bank account of the relationship. And those deposits are going to build up over time, and they're going to help cushion the impact of any negative interaction. And there will be negative interaction. I mean, that's
we're
a
human.
given.
Yeah.
And so it makes it much easier to resolve conflict and move forward without festering in resentment.
Right.
Right.
And just so we're clear, conflict doesn't mean a negative interaction.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
I mean, the conflict doesn't have to contain these negative interactions.
Oh no,
at all.
It can be very subtle, if you will. It may contain,
Right.
The negative interactions we're talking about,
Yeah.
but it can be very subtle.
Right. But the consistency, the keeping up with this abundance of positive interaction can help to soften any sort of difference.
Right. So how do we incorporate the 5-to-1 ratio into our relationships? How do we take this secret sauce?
We're not tallying.
And no,
Let me just say that. That's
no,
not what we're doing.
No, we're not tallying, but we are being very conscious and aware.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to. If you're living the relationship, you don't have to tally.
No.
You know.
No, and you can sense within yourself if there's a sense of, you're not comfortable or you're not connected. To me,
You
that
feel
just
it. You know it.
That to me, that says, okay, we need some more positive interactions
Right.
within our relationship.
So let's talk about some strategies for incorporating this 5-to-1 ratio in your relationships. The first one that I'll talk about is expressing appreciation every day. And so this is making a conscious effort to both recognize and verbalize your gratitude for your partner and whatever your partner's efforts are. Doesn't matter how small.
No, for the little things.
Yeah. It's kind of like, it's kind of like taking your vitamins every day, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a little thing, isn't it?
Yes.
But we take our vitamins every day, and we hope that over time, those vitamins are going to, accumulate in our system and help us.
They keep us healthy. Yeah.
So there was a study back in 2012 that found that individuals who feel more appreciated by their romantic partners tend to be more appreciative in return, and that leads to greater responsiveness to their partner's needs. And so you see the cycle that you get into here. And so appreciative individuals report higher commitment levels, and they're more likely to remain in the relationship over time.
And I think we all know this, at least on the unconscious level, right? Like even if we bring this out of the romantic relationship and into work, right?
Right.
If your boss doesn't appreciate how your work and your effort, you're less likely to continue, right?
Right.
And it's the same within relationships.
Absolutely.
And I think it's so much easier, unfortunately, within relationships to let that slide because it just becomes part of the mundane.
Right.
And that's when we have to remember that there's magic within the mundane.
Absolutely.
And we add that little sparkle of pixie dust to the mundane with appreciation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we want to acknowledge the little things. It's it's so easy to take the everyday actions
Right.
for granted.
Right.
But if we acknowledge them, that can make a big difference. So, did your partner make coffee for you this
Right.
morning, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did they take out the trash? Did they pick up the groceries on their way home? All of these are small things,
Mm-hmm.
but if we will recognize those efforts just simply with, hey, I appreciate you always thinking about me there,
Right.
bringing me my coffee, or I really appreciate you stopping and doing the picking up the groceries on your way
Mhm.
home.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
doing that
Yeah,
dishes. those
thank
dishes,
you, or
yeah.
I appreciate. That's absolutely. Also compliment their strengths.
Mm.
What it could be their sense of humor, it could be their cooking skills, it could be their ability to remain calm under pressure. Let them know that you see that, and let them know that you value those traits. I love how on tough days you can make me laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Also celebrating achievements. Don't wait for the big milestones to celebrate your partner's achievements.
No.
Acknowledge the small successes and pay attention to those, and communicate that you're proud of those.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. I think that would be an especially important piece when one or the other of you has had a really tough week for whatever reason, right?
Yeah.
And so just to say, wow, I'm impressed at your stamina or your resilience,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Just to give them a boost. I mean, that's one of the best things that we can be for each other is, well, first of all, witness, right? But secondly, cheerleader.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Quality time and prioritizing that quality time. It means being fully present to your partner and making an effort to connect on a deeper level.
You got the mental image already.
I get in my chair and I turn on the news, or I'm on the football game, or whatever, or I'm on my, I'm scrolling through and keeping caught up with Facebook or Instagram or whatever I'm doing.
Yes.
And you'll come up and say, "Can I have a moment?"
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's important. And so whatever I'm doing, I put on pause, and I put it away, and
we have
our moment.
And I appreciate it very much.
And it doesn't have to be long drawn out.
No.
But
Sprinkled.
quality time sprinkled in. Research shows that everyday non-conflict interactions boost the health and the functioning of a relationship.
And I think for the modern, couple that's both working, I think you've mentioned the number. It's like 23 minutes a day, right?
Yeah.
That they get to spend with each other.
Yeah.
So how can you maximize those
that?
23 minutes?
Yeah. And
or ideally expand them somehow.
Yeah. What are some strategies for doing that? Well, date night, planning date nights, regular date nights can be a great way to prioritize quality time. Plan something special. Maybe it's a dinner at your favorite restaurant or movie night or whatever.
I have some friends, they're a couple, and I really admire them because they're both very busy in their jobs.
Right.
So they truly do. Every Friday, they plan, from 5, to the rest of the night. They're both going to be off for each other and do something together.
I think that's something they always look forward to week by week.
At the end of the week, right? Yeah. And I think some people could say, "Oh, well, that's not romantic." Well, you can make it that way.
Yeah, sure.
Just because you plan it doesn't take
the
romance
away from it. And in fact,
unless you tell yourself it does,
right? And in fact, if it's if you do this with regularity and it's on your schedule, it's something that you can both look forward to. Wow, we get to do this, on Friday. Showing interest in each other's hobbies, taking time to learn about and participate in your partner's interest. and hobbies. Even if it's not something that you would normally do, showing interest in what your partner loves can bring you closer together.
And who knows, you might end up doing it with them.
And exactly. Of course, accept their perspective. Considering your partner's viewpoint shifts focus from immediate self-centered desires to a broader relationship concern and long-term consequences. And so, if we make this shift, it can lead to behaviors that ensure long-term happiness for both partners.
Right.
So accept their perspective. And of course, last but not least, don't forget to apologize and forgive. Those are crucial skills.
Yes.
Because conflict is inevitable. And so, Lauren, we talk about the importance of forgiveness. It's like showering every day.
Yes.
So both being willing to forgive, being willing to let go, but also being willing to ask for, forgiveness when it's needed, as we're looking at this 5-to-1 magic ratio as a secret sauce, if you will. Okay, so when we come back, we'll stir a little more into our sauce.
Excellent. Something extra.
Are you liking? Yeah, lanyap. Yeah. Are you liking our sauce so far?
I'm liking it.
Okay, we've got more. We got more. We'll be back. Stay with us here on Strategies. You're going to see the difference. When you go to Azalea Cleaners, you'll hear about it too. Azalea Cleaners has been fine dry cleaning since 1958, plus laundry, alterations and repairs, comforters, wedding gown cleaning and restoration. You'll hear about it from your friends because they'll see it too. They'll notice the Azalea difference. Azalea is convenient. 732 Azalea Drive, 9220 Ellerby Road, and 9227 Mansfield Road. Plus, the front door of your home or business with Azalea's delivery on demand. Just text SETUP to 249-8283, and Azalea will pick up your clothes and deliver them back clean and fresh to you. You can't get closer than that. That's the Azalea difference. You'll notice it right away. Others will too. The Azalea difference. Fine dry cleaning since 1958. Text SETUP to 249-8283 and get the Azalea difference. AzaleaCleaners.com.
Hi, this is Jay Merle for Pintail Roofing. Let's talk about quality. When you hire Pintail to build your roof, here's what you can expect. Quality and quality control are the most important concerns for us at Pintail, and you need to know that Pintail stands tall with swift and professional performance on any warranty call. This is our most important policy. And remember, we're your neighbors. We'll be here for you for the long haul. Our family's lived here for over 100 years, and we aren't going anywhere. On the commercial side of Pintail's business, our fluid-applied roofing solutions can save thousands of dollars over conventional commercial roofing options. Call Pintail at 226-ROOF for a free inspection of your home or commercial building. That's 226-7663. Pintail Roofing. What's the condition of your roof?
Tuning for a dose of good cheer. Run and David are here. Strategies for living is the show. Healthy mind and spirit we know. Jingle bells ring bright, guiding you through the night. With wisdom and delight, tune in and feel the light.
And welcome back into 101.7 FM and 710 Keel and our little dose of holiday radio rehab. We call it Strategies for Living. Lauren Leon McMillan and David McMillan. We're glad you're here with us, and it's good to be talking about relationships today on Strategies.
Before we move on too far, I just thought about this. We are talking about relationships in particular with your romantic significant other.
Right.
But I truly believe this relationship sauce can be applied to any and all relationships, even if you are quote unquote single.
Absolutely.
Right? Maybe especially so. You can apply this to your relationship with yourself. I might ask you for every, thinking of the 5-to-1 ratio, for every negative interaction you have with yourself, make sure you have 5 positive ones.
Absolutely. Because, again, the most important relationship that you are going to ever be in is the relationship you have with yourself. And it sponsors
absolutely
every other relationship you're in.
Truly the gift of other relationships with quote unquote others, right, is to continue to heal your relationship with self.
Yeah. There was a renowned relationship expert, is a renowned relationship expert and psychotherapist, Esther Perel. And Esther Perel makes reference to the role of competing priorities in relationships, particularly romantic relationships.
Okay.
Describing relationships themselves, as I'm quoting here, cauldrons of contradictory longings.
Okay.
So let's break that down. Marriage is built upon tensions. Okay, so what are the tensions? Safety and excitement, grounding and transcendence, the comfort of love and the heat of passion. And so all of these are ones that Perel mentions, right?
Okay.
These are only a few of the dichotomies that any long-term relationship is going to face. And, on each end of the dichotomy, something vital is to the health of the relationship is offered. But each of them might push you in opposite directions. Safety, security, and comfort are among our most basic human needs, right?
Absolutely.
And those are certainly, important in a relationship.
Foundational.
But on the other hand,
Yeah.
you want that excitement, that adventure. That's just as important.
Yeah.
And so they drive, and they, the adventure and excitement inspires us and thrills us. We can't have both at the same time, but they are equally essential. And so what she's talking about is balance, right?
Yeah.
So,
I think you can. I would scratch my head on that one, because I think you truly can have safety and adventure, or safety and excitement at the same time.
Well, I think so. I understand what you're talking about, but for again, when you're looking at large swaths of couples, right?
Yeah.
How can I say this? Opposites attract is the best way I can say it.
Right.
And so the reality here is, I think you're permanently tasked with balancing the vital but contradictory priorities that each one of you may crave.
Right.
I mean, maybe one craves the comfort of a partnership that is stable and secure, right? But fears the consequence of it losing its sense of adventure and spark.
Okay.
And so you'll strive to build a shared identity with your partner, and that balance is what you're going for. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I also think that as you come together and as you quote unquote compromise in what you're saying are kind of two opposite views or ideas, you can begin to realize how one actually magnifies the other.
Right.
Like in terms of, well, the more safety we cultivate within the relationship, the more excitement we can have.
Right.
The more adventure we can have, because we know we're safe.
So what we want to do is we want to sustain each end of the dichotomy, which may require sacrifice sometimes. It may certainly requires intentionality and compromise. That may be challenging, but it's worthwhile for both of you. So it means kind of carving out time maybe for spontaneity without overhauling your sense of safety.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So an example from you and I in our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You love to go.
Mhm.
You love to travel.
Yeah.
I'm more of a homebody, right?
Right.
So we get intentional about this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we'll plan our trips up to. I mean, you know, if I get you up into Arkansas past
We got to get
Hot
past
Springs,
Hot Springs.
once
Then
we
I'm a
get
free woman.
once we get into the mountains, it's like I you know
You have a new woman.
a
On your
new
hand.
woman on my hands, right? So we're in, even though, you know, I have to stretch,
Mhm.
you know, okay. So even getting away from the house for 3 or 4 days, you know, I'd just rather, I'm a homebody,
Yep.
you know?
I know.
And so there's the dichotomy in action, right?
Right.
So that's the, you're intentional about it. You're focused on it. And so this is an example of working both ends of the dichotomy, right?
Right.
Safety and security is important, but so is adventure. And so, I get you up into adventure when I get you up into the mountains of Arkansas. Yeah. So anyway, that's the secret sauce, you know, that the 5-to-1 ratio, and then balancing and managing the dichotomies that are, you know, going to be in a relationship.
Right.
They're just there. you
Yeah,
know?
they are. I mean, because like we mentioned in the beginning, there's 2 different personalities involved.
Right.
And so that's it. You know, and as you mentioned, quite often opposites attract.
Almost always. And again, you know, you may not realize, most people probably don't, that at the unconscious level, we're really attracting to us
That
you
which
know,
we need to heal.
that in our life which we need to heal. So again, to raise that and to become conscious of that really then allows you to use it and talk about cutting down the and managing the
edges.
conflict. Yeah, exactly. Within relationships, that allows you to do that. Talking about it today here on Strategies for Living. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Hey, let's talk about the Robinson Film Center. You know, I say it a lot. There's no place like the Robinson.
Absolutely, there is not.
617 Texas Street, downtown Shreveport. You've got so much. You got the movies. You got Abby Singer's Bistro on the second floor of RFC, open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Saturday.
Newly remodeled.
Absolutely. Great menu. RobinsonFilmCenter.org is the way you check it all out. You can go to RobinsonFilmCenter.org at any time and find out what movies are showing. Here's the deal. You want to join the crowd, join the fun, become a member. When you become a member, you become a star. You get discounts on movies, you get concession upgrades, you get bistro deals. RFC, 617 Texas Street in downtown Shreveport. I'll say it again. There's no place like the Robinson.
There is not, and I'm glad we have one right here.
Absolutely. The RobinsonFilmCenter.org.
Reading begins not in the classroom, but in your child's brain. I'm Donisa Walker with LearningRx Shreveport. If your child struggles to read, maybe he or she has trouble focusing or comprehending, LearningRx Shreveport offers a science solution to reading problems, working one-on-one with your child, targeting his or her reading skills. Today, call LearningRx Shreveport. Make an appointment to have your child assessed. I know you want to help your child, so does LearningRx Shreveport.
Morning light, a fresh new start. Lauren, David play their part, guiding you through healthy ways, for brighter nights and sunny days.
Well, we hope so.
Strategies for living safe.
That's the plan.
That's the plan anyway. That's the hope.
That's the intention.
Sometimes the intention is most important. Welcome back, folks. Welcome back into 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Welcome back into Strategies for Living. The relationship secret sauce, that 5-to-1 ratio, and balancing those dichotomies. What's your takeaway from our time today, Lauren?
Just the magnitude of impact that 5-to-1 ratio can have. And, any moment that you are, aware of any sort of discomfort or disconnect with your partner, how can I add any sort of positive interaction or be more conscious of intentionally bringing positivity?
I don't think we can underscore that enough. Mm-hmm. Raising the level of awareness and consciousness in relationships.
Yeah.
Focusing on that 5-to-1 ratio has, it encourages you to do that just naturally.
Right. It encourages you to bring you into the present moment and to be more aware and appreciative, right? In every moment.
Right.
Because of the great impact that it can have on, everyone involved in the relationship.
Consciousness and intentionality, very, very important in relationships.
I'd argue one of the most important things.
May well be. Talking about the secret sauce, there certainly is one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Folks, thank you for being a part of Strategies for Living. We appreciate you being with us. We do this for you each and every day here on Strategies for Living. And we can because of our wonderful sponsors, the Robinson Film Center, and Azalea Cleaners, and Pintail Roofing, and Learning RX, and the Balanced Life Wellness Center, and Fertitta's Delicatessen, home of the Godfather Alligator Italian Sausage. If today were the last day of your life, you only had one more phone call that you could make, who would you call? And what would you say? And why are you waiting? Make the call. For Lauren Leon McMillan, I'm David McMillan. See you next time right here on Strategies for Living.
So does Learning RX Shreveport.